Hi, Scorpio. Every other sign. How come she always has to turn out completely for the Scorpio video? How come she always looks the prettiest in the Scorpio video? It's not me. I'm not doing it. It's the vibes, man. Okay. I'm not gonna say anything. Take a deep breath. Let's do this. And then I'll tell you what's going on astrologically. And you can roll your eyes and ignore it for a couple of days. And then something will happen that'll make you go, damn it, Umber. Fine. So, you know, business as usual. King of Swords. You have a tendency to take for the next 3 or 4 weeks. And it's only because you've given too much. So what Scorpio does is you give, you give, you give, you give quietly. And then one day you wake up and you go, nobody's giving anything back. I'm empty. I'm now going to go out there and take with a vengeance. Probably not even from the people who took from me. Just people who fall under my spell. So you find yourself doing all sorts of, well, questionable things. Perhaps you are physically involved with someone you have no intention of having an emotional relationship with. Perhaps you're having more than one relationship at the same time. When Scorpio takes, they really like to take. Ace of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. You have also the luck this month. Not really this month, starting today, really, as Mars has moved. You have a chance to reevaluate, take in opinions of how to restructure your business, on how to restructure what it is that you have put so much time and passion into. If it's the universe that tells you, or if it's the magician that tells you, or if it's the King of Swords that tells you. Regardless of how the message gets across to you that you may have to restructure, or that you should, it's not going to go over so well. Your need to draw blood, and every Scorpio knows what I'm talking about. There's this way that you get when you've been hurt, that you won't get over it until you draw blood. That's what you're doing for the next 4 weeks. And a lot of people are confused as to why. But I'm holding the Gemini and the Sag card in my hands. So not all of us are confused. If you keep doing the same things, you're going to keep meeting the same people. If you keep meeting the same people, you're going to keep having the same relationship. If you keep having the same relationship, I don't know how many more tries you got left. Bottom of the deck, Ace of Cups, and then across from you, Taurus, and then the Nine of Swords. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you will keep getting what you've been getting, which is subpar, mediocre love at best. At best. Oh, but you're talking to a fixed sign, Umber. You know we're not going to change. You know we don't even know how to change. I can't believe you're supposed to know us better than everyone. How are you even saying that? Because astrologically you have to. Sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do. This is one of them. And what is it that you can't do, shouldn't do? In every interaction, every interaction, there is a give and take. I'm not saying that all interaction is transactional. I could, but I won't. But there is always a give and take. What you should not do is keep taking because you're mad. Your temper flares so dangerously that you can stay mad for weeks. You can, if you want to, spend the Mercury retrograde starting tomorrow, livid. You can spend it upset and livid and actually kind of blurring your own moral lines, because when you get livid and upset, your conscience kind of takes a vacation and is like, do what you gotta do to feel better. They should have known better. And you're in that mode right now. Heavy. I can feel it. It's very ice cold. It's very like, I'm going to take what I want from you but I'm not going to give you anything. I'm not going to give you anything. So if you're dealing with the Scorpio right now, if you're watching this because you're like, oh, Amber, I really like a Scorpio. Even if you're married to them, they can't stand you right now. That's the thing. Even if you are married to them, they're like, oh my God, I'm miserable. Oh my God, please stop telling me what to do. And no one's even telling you what to do. You're mad. You're fed up, and it's not one thing. It's like Scorpios looked around at their life and gone, why is everybody taking? Like, do none of you have any shame? Why are you just, I was just watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, and there's this episode where they're at a poker party at someone's house playing poker. And the person who owns the house has to run to the hospital for something. They have a relative who's hurt. And the guys playing poker at his house just stay. Because they're like, well, pizza's coming, and we're here, and we don't want to leave the house unlocked. He's gone. So they come up with all these reasons for why they should just stay there. And when the guy gets back, of course, he's livid because he's like, what are you doing? Like, my relative's in the hospital. I've just come back, and I've come back to a whole full house full of people having this like riotous party. Like, what's going on? That's how you guys feel. It's like, no, you can't be taking from me, simultaneously have me running around in circles trying to do things for all of you, and you're sitting in my house having a party without me. No, enough. Actually, keep the house, keep the party. I'm gonna go have an affair. Let's see who's laughing tomorrow. Scorpio. Ooh. The poison. I'm not used to it, I've weaned myself off the venom. Tastes funny, tastes metallic. And then you have the Queen of Wands, the Star, and the World. So this restructuring, this fresh look at what you want your life to be like and what kind of partner you deserve to have next. There's a little wishing involved. There's a little spirituality involved here. There's room for Scorpio to work their magic and ask for something very strong. Regardless of how you identify or what your sexual preference, to ask for someone strong right now would be the right move. Someone who could perhaps also point out to you where your friendships and your love relationships in general have left you quite battered. A lot of times it's funny how much Scorpios are abused because they can take a lot of abuse and they're never going to tell anyone. So, it makes them kind of like astrologically groomed for abuse because they're never going to say. The Lovers and the Temperance card here are also about there is a secret, deep want. It could be a love, it could be a degree you were chasing, it could be a career you were chasing. Most probably love. And you keep it suppressed and deep inside. Well, because there's just nothing to be done about it. Nothing is going to change. Nothing will help. It is what it is, and that's it. Well, the next 2 weeks of the retrograde are coming back at you and saying, is it too late? If you suddenly run into somebody that you really want to see, grab it. If you were left by someone that you really, really now have been pining for secretly underneath it all, you can run into them in the next 4 weeks and you can start again. This is like fairy tale stuff. It's like, no, but really? Yeah, but really. And of course it is ironic that it comes at a time where you feel so taken from, because the universe is going to give you so much just now. You just felt the tip before it tips back. And that's okay. It's because you're sensitive. But it would be nice if you didn't take out that nervousness and anger on the rest of us by breaking our hearts, cursing us out, yelling at us, scaring us, etc., etc. Because we love you. Want to look at these cards? Hi, Scorpio. There are no words to describe how irritated I am right now at the sound of this construction, or the people that run this building that thought it would be a good idea to subject all of us to the next 6 months of interminable noise. Oh, I am feeling these Scorpio vibes right now. I'm right there with you. You guys, I was talking to you about irrational anger, and here I am rationally angry now. Like, I just hope when I leave today to get away from the sound that I won't run into anyone who's on the board of this building. Because if I do, I think I've got a little venom of my own saved up. Let's get to it, shall we? King of Swords, the Magician, and the 10 of Swords. What you've been doing, how you've been moving, hasn't been working. Although the money is good and the value continues to grow, this aggression and sadness is following you. The reason it's following you is because it wants you to change and get better. What is usually your trigger in being your most toxic self? You know it's us. So for me, the Lover's card in this spread is just another trigger. It's another way for the universe to say to you, can you really handle the continued abundance I want to give you? But more than that, the peace, the stability, a different kind of love that you're looking for, or a rebirth within your marriage, a rebirth within your relationship. All of that is on the table right now. It doesn't matter if things are going well or not. You can still grow, you can still evolve, and that's exactly what mid-Feb to mid-March is about for you. It's about evolving past the seductive, past the mysterious, past even the overgiving, overloving, oversharing. It's way past all of that. It's a new kind of contained, fixed energy that you have now, that you can tap into now if you let go of, 1, bad habits that are treacherous, 2, any sort of infidelities or let's call them inaccuracies that you've been indulging in. 3, keeping your value at the center of everything, not your skill and not your ability and understanding, your value. Okay? Then moving down into mid-March, we have don't get triggered by the love situation. Don't get triggered by the Gemini. They're doing it just to do it. Mercury is retrograde. You know Gemini's going to fuck around and play with everybody. Don't give in. Don't take the bait. The Sag card here is like, hey, homie, if we can balance these things out a little bit, we can avoid you having to crash and burn emotionally before you figure out that you want something different. Now, again, let me do my little segment of if you are dealing with a Scorpio. If you are dealing with a Scorpio and you yourself happen to be a no strings attached person, if that person sees you as a thought, if that person, I'm just being very real with you, if that person sees you as just something that they can smash when they want to, whatever, and that's all you guys have, but you feel or you swear that you're in love with them, they're not in love with you. It's not going to happen. You probably won't see them after this retrograde because they tired of the thoughts. They tired of everything. Even though they might be actively indulging you, they're spiraling down. If this is about a friendship, a family member, Scorpios now have to, whether they're dealing with it in terms of relationships, sex or not, this spiral down is happening because I'm trying to show them something. When you're already way down deep, you do have the luxury of nobody looking deeper to see if you could have more depth. We just assume the Scorpios have all the depth in the world, right? Because who's really going to go down there to see if there's any more room down there? We just take your word for it. Like, okay, you're down there. It must be as deep as it goes. No, it's not. No, it's not. And sometimes it's the depths of depravity that take Scorpio there so they can really find their bottom, their rock bottom. Emotionally, that rock bottom for you during this Mercury retrograde is so positive. It brings you renewed vigor, power, money, opportunity, but also, like I keep pointing out over here, a love you can understand, and more importantly, a love that understands you. A resurgence in your marriage. A resurgence in your friendships. People are taking another look and saying, man, you give a lot. Thank you. All right, right into the extended we go. Love you.